Putin wants to take on Biden. He wants to take on Biden. He wants to take on uh, 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 um, NATO. It's also with the Stoltenberg. I mean, another braveheart, isn't it? I mean, all these bravehearts all over the place. He must be laughing. Putin must be laughing the whole way to the barracks because there are no balls there, are there? This thing is hectic, and these people are dying. Eh? These people in Ukraine, a lot of people are dying. And I do. I mean, Zelensky, I was mocking him in my last video a little bit. I've got a cuck sense of humour. But he's got courage, and he's turning around, galvanizing, keeping his people together. I didn't think it would last this long, and no one did. But so they're fighting, but people are fighting back, and the guys that have, for the last 50 years, have said, we are the guns of the planet, are standing with their hands in the pockets and fiddling. This war is going to go on, and it's going to have impact dramatically on the world. But I think Biden, please, Bud, do the right thing. Now let's stand up and find out. And if the threat of nuclear, well, that's a threat, eh? That's a threat. But what do? Just keep running away from it? Just keep moving away and hoping? It's going to come. That's where it's going to go. How does it? Whoever loses will start using nuclear or very heavy weapons. And so if they think that this war of attrition against Russia is going to wear them down, no. If they think they're going to scare them, no. If they think they're going to, and what would I think the solution would be? Well, I think the solution first, disband NATO completely. It's redundant. It was created to stand against the USSR. No longer Russia's in that place, and they can't stand. They haven't got the guts. They're not going to be able to fight. They haven't got the soldiers. Even Germany. Now we can't give Ukraine any more tanks because we haven't got any more. We're going to get new ones made. So Germany, which was the powerhouse, I mean, of Europe in the Second World War, and was still as an economic powerhouse. I'm sure, what was that woman's name who was running the place? I'm sure she would have played it very different, or Merkel. But France, yeah, we will give them kafir, and they will bring those Russian people, we will love them to death. England, yeah, well, that's an interesting one. It was interesting in the Second World War. The Poms are funny people, not they? But, yeah, that's going to be a threat. But again, they are just beyond the reach, the immediate reach of Europe. Right? They cross a small little piece of ocean, of sea. But yeah, I say disband NATO. There is an alliance already, NATO, and there's an Eastern alliance between Russia, China, and I can't remember the other countries are. I think India and maybe Pakistan. But there's an Asian alliance and there's a NATO alliance, both doing both thing and both flexing their size. I think disband NATO, create a neutral zone of the whole of the Baltic, the previous Soviet states, Poland, so it'll go from the north of Baltic states, probably Sweden and Finland staying there, into so it'll be the north is Poland, into Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, etc. All of that thing form a buffer zone that is endorsed by the new body that is supported by both the East and the West. It's not a North Atlantic Treaty, and it's not a Asian, whatever it's called, organization, PPC or something. It's not these. There's this concerted effort of people that are the big players to keep world peace. And maybe if the guys don't do it, go and fucking shoot their leaders, not the countries. I mean, why we always bomb the countries? A couple of years, now we're going to go to war. Meanwhile, so the next day, hey guys, we're going to war. Soldiers, they weren't even there for the argument. They don't even know what the fight's about. Now we're going to go to war. Mothers, kids dying. And peace is being shot to think, no. Change it. Let's go. This war has got to go. It's got to be fought, or they've got to find a neutral zone. More or less, I think. Bit mixed up, but it's a complicated and developing story. See you, mania. Oh yeah, before I go, the story of this whole thing. I mean, and the last thing there as well is, I mean, we're talking. They say, we're going to go to war, and they're not going to go to war, and they're person. There's got to be keep a negotiation up. But meanwhile, at the G20, the American woman representing them Russia's here. We're not getting sure. I'm leaving. And then the person from English band, me too. And a couple of people walked out. And that's a body that's meant to actually create dialogue to diffuse problems. And now everyone's sulking. And then, as I say, the last thing that is on my mind is also Israel. I mean, we see these things. I mean, there was a hit on the Gaza Strip this morning, rockets, and more people killed. This whole raid on Ramadan. The Jewish, these extreme right guys being given passage into the temples and the holy areas, Muslim areas, at the time of Ramadan. I mean, is that not provocative? Is that not the epitome of causing cuck? I mean, and they're protected. No one says a word. It's the poor Palestinians running around and getting killed per day. And no one says a word. What the hell is going on there? I mean, yeah, I know they're powerful people. They're supported by who those people, Rothschilds and something apparently, and all these old saga and conspiracy theories. But this is wrong, Israel. This is wrong. You can't just take a people's country or people's property and put your people and then murder them. That's what law is supposed to protect, and international law. And the ICC, oh, you are such little girls, aren't you? Because all of you guys are saying what America and NATO says, and there's shit all over the world, but you haven't got the fucking balls to go and sort out. Maybe if you sort out some of these hard stories, you'd earn more respect and more people would listen. But this running around and just finding the flavors of the month and taking out the guys that the big guys say you must take out so that they can pillage them, it's insane. It's not right. This is what's happened in the last 20, 30 years, since the fall of the USSR, and with this whole collusion of NATO, is no different to colonialism 200 years ago. Slightly different, but it's still imperialism on both sides. It's both from NATO and from the West, and also quite honestly from China. But they do it better. They don't want to take the country. They just want to lend the money. When they can't pay, then they turn around, they take ownership of the country, and they let them still run the place themselves, do all the work, and they just take the money. Very clever. Still imperialism. And this is the whole, and the world is being nailed, not by these ideologies, but by leaders that don't give a shit what's good for people in society, and people that are too apathetic to actually notice. Wake up, eh? It's about time we actually started living on this planet and started creating the future we always dreamed about. Back to the 60s. Don't scare all the world, all this kind of cuck. I think we need a bit of that. Don't you think so? Have a lacquer day.